Windstorm Agnes gathering strength near the Azores. So developing windstorm it is, and it's likely to reach hurricane strength before it reaches the British Isles on Wednesday morning. It is still quite far away, but it's going to close in on those miles very quickly throughout the course of Tuesday. It's at 41.4 degrees north, 35.2 degrees west at 8 AM local time here in the UK and Ireland. It is a windstorm with winds of 50 miles per hour sustained, 80 kilometers per hour, an estimated pressure of 999 millibars, although Meteorological a little bit lower than that at 996, moving east-northeast at 35 miles per hour at this point, and it will gradually curve towards the northeast. Here's its current position displayed on the map with a substantial wind field now, although it's not depicted on this graphic yet, but it is increasing mainly on the southern side at this moment. Its distances from land: 392 kilometers from Corvo, the most outer island of the Azores, 2193 from Tirach, the closest point of Ireland, 2326 from Cork, 2471 from Penzance, which is now closer than Dublin, which is at 2521 kilometers. So it sounds like a far distance for it to cover in just one day, but it will do it quite easily, and by the time it does move through the British Isles, it will be moving fairly speedily off towards the northeast. So we're still concerned mostly towards damaging winds, of course, with hurricane force winds possible. Excuse the imagery on the right, that we usually use that for our main hurricane coverage, so it looks a little bit too tropical for our take, but gusts to hurricane force possible along all Irish and Irish Sea coastlines on Wednesday, as well as western Scotland on Wednesday night. One or two models, the Icon particularly, depicting winds of up to 115 miles per hour in gusts just before it reaches Ireland. Well, this is the forecast wind field, and all of that green area. You can see all of the areas that will be impacted very quickly there throughout the course of Wednesday into Thursday for most of the British Isles, and then moving off towards the northeast over the North Sea. It happens very quickly, blink and you miss it almost there. It will pass by throughout the course of just a few hours for most areas, but it will of course be packing a punch, and that quick movement will probably increase the wind factor as well. So 50 miles per hour right now. Some slightly old ASCAT information had 45 miles per hour. Meteorological in their last graphic showing just above 40 miles per hour sustained winds. So 50 miles per hour is a decent estimate right now. On that graphic there is Meteorological's forecast showing the peak of the storm just before it reaches land, and it peaks a little bit before landfall. It's not at landfall, it's a few hours earlier. And this is the Met Office chart showing the yellow warnings that remain in effect on Wednesday and Thursday for wind and rain in a few spots in Scotland there, enveloped by all of that wind area, which extends from Land's End pretty much all the way to John O'Groats actually, and almost all of the spine of Great Britain except the southeast of England. There's the GFS model. You saw it moving through very quickly there, followed by a secondary system that actually follows in afterwards later in the week. So it is going to be a very blustery experience for all of us throughout the course of this week as a whole. And looking at it again, we can follow the track of it. There's Agnes with those powerful winds, yellows showing hurricane force, and then continuing northeastwards and dying off, just about moving into northern Norway, and perhaps some of its remnants continuing on towards Sweden and the Baltic Sea. Looking at the simulated radar imagery of what it might look like, the massive shield of rain on the north and northeastern sides there, really impacting Ireland more than anything, and western Scotland, and those will be the areas that will receive the highest rainfall amounts, probably extending to southern Scotland as well. England and Wales not so much. Some parts of Wales may still get some substantial amounts of rain, but it's more wind for those areas. As we watch that storm move through once again, continuing on, you can just start to see a little swirl there off the coast of central Norway and then moving inland. So a very quick hit and run there from Windstorm Agnes. So here is the expected rainfall totals then over that whole 7-day period. So it's not just Agnes that we're looking at here, it will include that second system as well, and these are the rainfall totals that we'll be expecting. First thing you'll note there is that the southeast of England is very dry. There'll be very little rainfall from this storm, but look towards the southwest of Ireland, getting towards 4 inches, 100 millimeters. The western coast there around Mayo as well, getting some significant amounts. Northwestern Wales getting up to 3 inches, and western Scotland really getting a lot of rain there as well, getting up towards 100 millimeters, 4 inches. So a lot of rain there for maybe the usual suspects, but certainly significant amounts, and sometimes the rain rate can cause some flooding issues. Sea surface temperatures, of course, we usually look at this for more tropical activity, but it does also give you an indication of how warm the waters are compared to average, which, you know, they're pretty decent. September is the warmest month for sea surface temperatures in our area, and they're still hovering around 15 to 16 degrees Celsius, so there's still quite a bit of heat energy in there that will aid this storm, particularly when we're talking about that precipitation rate. Satellite imagery looks like this, and this is the latest for Meteosat 10, which is now probably getting towards the closest to this storm. And here's a look over on the GOES 16 satellite as well, infrared shortwave there, and this is the water vapor imagery. It's starting to get a little bit better organized with its sensor. It's difficult to tell whether it does have a circulation yet at this point, or whether there's 2 or 3 competing areas, but I think it will very shortly. It's the northeastern side that's the most untidy, not producing huge amounts of convection just yet, to be honest. When you look at that cloud cover, it looks pretty dismal, but I imagine it will improve quite a lot as it gets closer. Very important 24 hours here.